Hey everyone, guess what? We are here with PREYRS. Oh my God. They
Hello.
have a new album, The Wounded Healer, coming out. I gotta look at my date, 11/14. I almost said 11/7 because there's another album that I just saw an email for that's like coming out 11/7. And I was like, hold on. Oh shit. Um, so first I want to say this album is fucking fantastic.
Oh, thank you very much.
I absolutely love like how it flows and the different sounds that you guys have incorporated into the music. It's I don't want to say refreshing, but I listen to a lot of like death metal.
Yeah,
So
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I can get into this. I'm also I'm a huge fan of like Pelagic Records. Like
Cool.
I
okay.
think there's nothing I've heard from the label is even like mediocre. It's all phenomenal. Like fantastic musicians, great sounds, and everyone is like super cool over there. So I'm like, I'm I'm really fucking into this.
Oh,
Um,
Somebody said last night that it is a little bit of a sidestep of a signing for them, just sort of stylistically, but it also feels like a gap in their roster. So I like that idea, that we're not fully the black sheep, but it's sort of
yeah. Well, and I think that's a really cool thing about what they do is it's not like they're not like, okay, we're only doing this.
yeah.
When they hear something good, they're like, hey, let's do it,
yeah,
you know?
for sure. That's definitely their ethos. That's the ethos that we fell in love with.
Mm.
Yeah. And it's really hard to find that because I think so many people are they're so focused on being defined by these parameters, like,
Hmm.
oh, if we're gonna do death metal, we have to do death metal. If we're gonna do punk, we have to do punk. If we're gonna do singer-songwriter, that's all it is. And I mean, you guys know the reality is like if it's good music, it's good music regardless of style, you know?
Absolutely. Totally agree.
Yeah, we stepped away from management, which might have had a different opinion on that a few years back. So we've been left to our own devices, and that's a nice playground to be in. So
For sure. Yeah, it's Pelagic is another one of those like labels when they bring something on, it's something they're gonna fully back 100%, you know?
Mm.
Yeah,
Um,
we've got so far. Hopefully, long may it continue.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you guys keep putting out albums like this, I think it will.
Mm.
So, you know, the a couple of things like reading about the history of the band, as it were. You guys just changed from essentially like Amy Montgomery to PREYRS on this album, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we before this we released everything under my name. Um, but I think probably important to mention that maybe at one point we were calling it a straight up rebrand, but as time goes on, we realize that what we've actually done is rebrand more so the heavier side of the music, in order to have a bigger scope for experimenting with even heavier stuff, maybe possibly in the future, and also different lyricism as well, a little bit different to what was being put out under my name before. So yeah, definitely like a it was a really crazy step to take, like just before a debut album. But we just hope and pray, no
Hmm.
pun intended, that that
Pun intended. We're preying on that shit.
Don't start her, don't start her.
I didn't even mean to say that. Like I am queen of bad jokes, so don't get me started. Um,
Listen, you guys come to the States, we'll go out to dinner and you'll see the king of bad jokes. My wife's like, just don't say anything.
Yeah. But no, it definitely it's been an interesting journey, and it's still early days, man. But even we uh we ended up at Bloodstock Festival, and that was we would never have got that under Amy's name alone, because if the programmers of these festivals go on and they can find her older stuff where it's like a piano ballad or a folk tune, but as soon as we sort of like got that cool logo and the ideas behind PREYRS and sort of packaged it up, like we scored this crazy the biggest independent metal festival in the UK, and ended up playing with Gojira and Machine Head. So that was a nice first show for PREYRS. So
and don't forget Ministry.
Oh, Ministry, yeah, yeah.
Ministry was my favorite gig at Bloodstock.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Ministry. I'm like, that was, I'm thankful that I got to share a Ministry live show with my daughter, who was, I think she was like 11 or 12 at the time.
Yeah.
Ah, that's so nice.
Yeah. I think, for me, like, music is that it's the great unifier. You know what I mean? When we're involved in music, there's no like, there's no outside bullshit. Like at a live show, it's like just us and the band. Like, this is why we're here. The community typically is super, super cool, especially with like young kids. Like, we're going to protect the little ones in the mosh pit or whatever. So I'm like, come on, let's go, kids. And they're like, okay, let's go.
I had a bit of an epiphany or a realization at Bloodstock as I watched all the sweaty guys and girls, but mostly guys that I was looking at pick each other back up off the ground, and I had this thought of like, wow, this is like therapy in action. It's like like role playing therapy for all the people who really maybe never got picked up back up again by family members in the past or friends or situations that they've been through in their life, and this is them kind of like putting a plaster over that, a band-aid over that, but one that sticks and that actually heals. Anyway, I'm a deep thinker.
That, listen, it seriously is, people, like, not to get into religion too much, but like, everyone's like, oh, I go to church on Sundays and blah blah blah. And for me, it's the live show is church, because I'm there with like-minded people. And again, there's like, we're there for a oh God, I can't think of the term, but just like, we're just there for the music. There's no like ulterior motives or any other like bullshit. And there might be some drama here and there because dating scenes or whatever, but at the end of the day, like, you walk in and it's like, hey, I've not seen you since the last show, last week or whatever it was.
Yeah, we really enjoyed the sense of community at such a niche festival, which you don't always get at, say, multi-genre, eclectic, which has its place as well, but just that nice feeling of these 20,000 people all there for the same general passion and that type of music and that type of energy. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's spectacular. So this really interested me. When you all wrote the album, you took a month and went to Canada in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
What?
Well, it was a really, yeah, it was quite a crazy situation, man. We were sort of on our way to Ireland to start work on the record because we just about got the energy and just, and timing to say, right, it's time to put down this body of work. And, literally a week before or so, we get a call from a friend of ours who had taken over this old hotel on Wolfe Island, which is just off the coast of Kingston. And in the dead of winter, sort of the hotel closed down and they built the studio. And so a couple of artists were going to be working. So I got asked to play drums on a record up there, and then I said to the guys, look, that's cool, but can Amy come, and then we can work in downtime, or and which happened to work out really well because we were super jet lagged, so we were waking up at like 6 a.m. and running downstairs and just starting to smash out ideas. And yeah, and that led into just this crazy situation of not using any of our own equipment and like borrowing gear, and just so everything was unfamiliar, but that was like hugely inspiring.
And also, not to mention the fact that from that phone call, asking Michael to go play drums on someone else's record, that it was only 2 weeks after that we were on the flight to Canada.
Yeah.
So it was all very fast. And,
Yeah.
and then when we arrived, the ideas that we had arrived with, most of them didn't really get used. And
Yeah.
that's why we ended up then writing, like, most of the songs on this album were written in an apartment overlooking like a really super frozen over Lake Ontario. That kind of felt like what Michael would describe as a Shining-esque
Oh
hotel.
yeah, like an empty hotel with like a chef and a couple of staff. So it was kind of spooky and we're not used to those sorts of temperatures. Minus, you go outside and your head freezes and you're like, get me back in there. And it's
Oh yeah, he went out for a walk
without a hat.
one day without a hat and came back and he's like frozen face. Yeah.
Like, I got frostbite on my nose. Oh shit! And then you turn a corner and you see red
Yeah.
rum. Like,
It was like Fargo meets Shining, you know.
uh, that's awesome though. Like, I know it's super cold and that part of it sucks, but I think that part of the world in the winter, it's gorgeous. You look over,
Oh yeah.
a snowy frozen lake. It's just like,
It was like a retreat, you know. It wasn't really supposed to be, but it turned out to be the best thing that could have happened to us. As as a creative person, I think you can change even, change one thing around you to make you think differently about music. But all of a sudden, if you're on the other side of the world and it's like, wow, that's everything in that record is a lot of reactions to either that either those walls or what was happening in the world at the time as well. So
that's so cool. I was going to ask how you feel that being there and writing like helped shape the album, but you totally just like laid it out. Like, oh, here it
yeah,
is.
immensely. So yeah, it's kind of weird now to think of what would have happened if circumstance didn't,
I have no idea. There might not even be an album.
Yeah.
Like if we never went there, it was such a concentrated time of songwriting, and putting down demos, but some of the, or a lot of the, yeah, a lot of the stems and tracks within each song we kept. Some original vocal takes of me just like standing up and saying, I've got something in my mind, I need to sing it right now. And we kept some of those vocal takes in the final versions of like the outro of Into the Blue, for example. So yeah, it was a crazy, crazy time that felt very energetically charged, as well, and also a very emotional writing process. I mean, for me, I will never lie to anybody and tell people that I love the process of songwriting, because I really don't. I actually, it's like it's a difficult process for me to put myself through. Maybe because I seem to always have to go to the deepest parts of my pain and the pain of the world in order to come out with songs that I actually feel like putting out. So when I know that I'm going into songwrite, I know that there's a heavy there's a heavy journey ahead, a heavy inner journey ahead. But I mean, Wolf Island was definitely the perfect backdrop for that, and within the somewhat turmoil of inner exploration within the songwriting, then I could leave the room, leave the hotel, go for a walk, go ice skating, and come back again and get back to it. So it was really just perfect. Yeah.
So do you feel like having the freedom to take off and do something really helped like you with the writing process itself, where you're not like, okay, 14 hours, this is all I'm doing?
Yeah, I suppose when a band is usually in a studio and you're looking at the clock and you're paying a lot of money, and but like to be in that fortunate situation where we worked out this lovely arrangement where we basically got to stay in that hotel for free, and then I spent a little bit of time playing drums and stuff on the other record that was being done there, but really we had a lot of time just to like, which I'm not saying it's a once in a lifetime experience, but it's definitely, made me think about, wow, how do you top that? It's like, right, where are we going next for the next record? Because I think now the traditional idea of just going and sitting in a sort of studio, close to your house is like, for me, it's like, oh, that's not how we're gonna get to the next thing.
Well, it really makes you think on like, I feel like through probably through the 90s, a lot of artists, they would go and like rent these big places and build a studio or have a studio in there and just go and sit for a month or 2 months or whatever and write albums. And I wondered, first, why did they do that? Was it just like, oh, we have the money, let's go do it? But I think it kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier is like, oh, we've done this. Let's
Mhm.
change this and see what really comes of it, you know?
Big time, yeah. I don't, it's funny, I don't know if we've fully stumbled on the idea of calling what happened in Canada prayers yet. That was
No,
it.
Prayers was not a the name Prayers was not affiliated with
Yeah,
this album when we were writing it,
so it was
which is
interest,
just so
yeah,
interesting.
because it was the heaviest stuff we would have let ourselves do, under Amy's name, and let's just go there, let these group of songs. I was thinking yesterday, it's like a mixture of having come through lockdown, and we were a little bit more pissed off than we were 3 years ago, and more something had built up enough to for this to be the product of that musically anyway.
And when then the idea came of putting this album under Prayers, it all really made sense. Like the name with this record, with the title of this record, everything was just like, this is all aligned, this is supposed to be the way that it is.
It's really awesome how like that synergy or synchronicity really like comes together. And you know I think sometimes when you're starting that path, you don't really see a clear path forward, but then things are aligning and you're like, oh, it's right there. Like, why didn't I see this the whole time?
Absolutely, such as life, my friend.
That's the fucking truth. God, it's like there's so much like good and bad with life. So we're sometimes we're so focused on this situation and not, the overall picture, which is like, you know, looking at the Wounded Healer, I feel like the album is not single driven, which I know I hate a single driven album.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I want to look at the album as a whole because to me that is the that's the art,
Yeah.
the cover, the liner notes, the lyrics, and start to finish on the album.
yeah.
Like that's where we want to be.
Yeah, and that having that format still, if obviously there's a debate going on. Is the album dead? And obviously there's a generation of people how we consume music now is, in the single format or even worse, the TikTok 15-20 seconds. But having grown up with records, like, hand on heart, I can still say that getting to paint with that sort of 30 to 45 minute window, is such a beautiful. You can say a lot, you can express a lot, and what we've come away with is, it's going to live forever in that, on that disc, and
Yeah,
it's
it's I'm that, I'm old, right? I'm like 50. So the time that I grew up in was that's what it was, is you when a band released an album, it was an album. They might have a couple of singles and then the album releases. And when things started changing to like single format, I found it really hard to like follow a band because I don't want to, if you're starting to tease me in January with a single, by March or April, I want that whole album.
yeah,
If
yeah,
I don't have that whole album by then, I'm bored and I'm moving on to something else because the way I consume music is I say, oh, I'm going to listen to this artist. That means, oh, okay, I need to pick an album. So I pick this album and I listen to the album from start to finish, and then I move on to the next thing.
Mhm.
Like that's why I can't do the radio. People are like, oh, listen to the radio. Like, no, because it's like one band, one song, another band, another song, commercial, another band, another song. Like, nope.
Yeah, I couldn't believe the American radio whenever I experienced that for the first time about, you know, how relentless the adverts were, and then it's sort of like the radio has died a little bit for, you know, breaking new bands because they've got to play the hits that, you know, and it's all like this, it's all the same now, which is sad, you know, but
Yeah. I mean, it's in 60 minutes, you have like 20 minutes of music and 40 minutes of ads. And it's like, holy shit.
uh,
Yeah, MTV is the same thing, right? They went from like, oh, we're going to play all these music videos, we're going to have Headbangers Ball and 120 minutes, and it shifted, and now it's like reality TV. Like, I don't want reality TV.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah.
Shit. So let
You
me
don't.
on the Wounded Healer. Is there a song that you all prefer more than another song?
Oh, that's a hard question.
Yep.
Darn it. I don't know. uh oh geez, I don't know. Well, I mean, honestly, a song that I'm proud of because I didn't really expect a poem to be on the album, then maybe for that reason I would say Nova. Um yeah, but I'm not favoriting that song.
Yeah,
So
it's a really nice process whenever people like, you know, yourself, when other people start to hear it, and then all of a sudden you start to hear it through, you know, different ears, and you know it's, you know, we're super close to it. They're all our babies. There was 11 tracks or whatever, and you know, but talking again, obviously the labels still want to say, right, what are the singles, what's getting put out first, and you're going, geez, I don't know, okay, we say this one and this one, you know, but it's lovely to hear somebody else come back and say, hey, that track you thought was sort of not filler but like an album track, going, no, that's like super fresh, something new in that, going, wow, okay. So you never know, we're too close to it, so
I mean, that's, it's fair. Like, I always ask that question, and one of the reasons why is because I always get a different answer.
mm,
Every art, some people are like, oh, well, it depends on, my mood. Like, I'll like this song for this,
yeah,
or I like that song for that. And, it's cool to hear that. And I know I understand being so close to it too. It's like, oh, we've created this thing like out of my children who are my favorite. Well, it's the
yeah,
one that's closest to me at that time, like, oh, I love Johnny because he's
mm.
bringing me something to drink right now, or
yeah.
whatever that is.
Like, I mean, I can't even choose most of the time, dude, what my favorite color is or what my favorite meal is. So like my favorite, like just forget about favorites with me. Like I just
uh
want them all as my favorite.
Listen, when it comes to food, my favorite food is all of it. Like, I will eat it all. I don't care. I literally got a text this morning. My buddy's like, they've got a like a conglomerate of restaurants. I think there's like 8 or 9 different concepts on this block, and he goes, "Oh, we're gonna shut down this one, and we're gonna open up a New York City style deli." I'm like, "Oh, pastrami sandwiches! Let's fucking do this!" Yes, like, I just love food, dude. My belly, like, it's so funny. But I think the lead single, "Waves of Wisdom," was a great single to really lead off with because it's so hooky. It makes you want to sing and dance to it. I think it's a really good like introduction to the band. It's one of those songs that has a lot of elements, that isn't super off-putting like some death metal, like
Yeah.
um so I think that was a great single. It's one thing that I really like through the album is like Amy's voice. There are times where I'm like, I've heard her voice, You know, there's a familiarity to it, which is, I think, comforting to the listener. And it also draws us a little closer because you're like, oh, where did I hear that before? I got to figure that out. So you go back and you listen to the song. And like right now, I got fucking an earworm. What does it feel like? I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you know, well, you know, when you guys like sat down to record the album, you know, you wrote it in Canada, you went back to Ireland to record. Did the songs like change a whole lot in that writing to recording process?
No, to be honest, man, a lot of the stuff is still there from Canada. I think we retracked 90% of the drums just for a a slightly more controlled sort of environment. There's definitely Life is Kind, the last track, that's all original.
You're from Canada?
Yeah, from Canada.
Yeah.
Some vocals and stuff, but no, there was some sounds captured there again due to not using our own equipment. Like the there's a few musicians live on the island. Um, and some people stay there seasonally in the summer, but there's a few hardcore guys that'll stay there in the -20. One being this lovely man called Rocky, and he'd been like Neil Young and Patti Smith's guitar tech, and now he's just retired to Wolf Island, and so we call around to his house. One of the guys in the hotel is like, go and bang on his door, and he'll give you whatever you need. So, you walk into this Aladdin's cave of vintage instruments, an old Slingerland drum kit and a Ludwig, and then this beautiful old 60s Gretsch, this orange kind of like rockabilly guitar that I would never gravitate to. And so next minute we're writing these kind of like stinky riffs through a little tiny 4-watt box amp that's like exploding through this Gretsch, and it's like that just let some of the guitar lines go into a particular place, and so some of that stuff is definitely on the record, and yeah, we would have never got that sound in our own place as a go-to anyway. So
Yeah, that's, you know, I think that really helps out add to the character of the album.
yeah,
You know, you're like, oh, we're not using our equipment. We had access to this and we did something and it sounded really fucking cool.
Yeah.
So we kept it, you know.
Also, I mean, we added guitars to a few songs.
some strings in Ireland,
Strings were
nice.
done in Ireland.
Some friends did some backing vocals, and
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like there's some backing vocals on Zeros, Ones and Lies, and also Into the Blue. And actually, also fun fact about Life is Kind, the last track. Uh, you a listener probably doesn't hear it, but the people who know that every time you hear a Wichita, there's like how many
I don't know,
people?
like 50.
50 people sent us voice recordings, like 50 people that come to our shows. Sent us a voice note of them saying a Wichita. And we put them all into the song so that they know that they're in this album, you know.
Yeah.
That's super cool. What a great tribute to your fans, you know. Hey, we're gonna do this. Do you want to be involved? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And then end up on
Yeah.
the album. Like,
Yeah,
hell yeah.
I've been meaning to take a shot of the multi-track because we yeah, whatever, the song's got like 30 tracks, and then there's about an extra 50 of these little sound bites of
People from all over,
That's
you know. Yeah.
that's fucking awesome. You know, you brought up Zeros, Ones, and Lies, and that as that track opens, your vocal melody is to me is a throwback to like the Who. It really reminds me of something they did, and I can't pick out which song it is, but I'm sure you know.
Oh,
Cool.
yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love Zeros. Like that's definitely one of my favorite tracks on this album. I love the anger in it, and just letting the anger run free within Zeros. And actually that's a really fun one to play live.
Yeah, it's
Definitely.
very, very punky. And it's funny, did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
no, I was never a real big Game of Thrones guy.
Me neither.
Yeah, it has a really cool theme song. It's just like a cello and it's very classical, but there's something in it that was inspiring whenever I was working on the sort of the riff of Zeros. I have no idea how it got from Game of Thrones to this sort of like to Zeros, Ones and Lies, but it did, and then Amy attacked it with her fantastic voice, and now it's
That
here.
song's hard to write because that the time signature of that I was finding really difficult in the songwriting process. Remember?
Oh yeah, yeah, making you count in five. Yeah.
Yeah, making me count in five.
She's not a prog head.
I'm not actually I am now though. It just took like one meltdown.
Better figure this shit out now, damn it. Like,
Yeah, I think I had to go for a walk one day just to like cool off from trying to write that that 5/4 song.
so you were out there for like 30 seconds. You like walked out there. You're like, oh, fuck this. I'm going back in. It's too cold. Michael's like, hold on. Let me forget my hat. I'm going back out there. So, it seems like you guys really challenged yourselves, like writing this album, finished product. How would you rate your like performance?
Oh my god, what a question. Let me just check the size of my head first. um
You got to be self-reflective, especially like when you go through this emotional process of like writing the songs. Like,
yeah, no, for sure, for sure. I think I honestly put what I think is almost everything or everything into this, so I would rate my performance pretty high. I don't know the exact number, but I would, in terms of performance, if I rate my performance in terms of emotionality and the depth that I went to for these songs, um, then yeah, I would rate it pretty high.
then, how do we rate this? Is it a scale of 1 to 10, 1 to 100? Is it a scale of like pastrami or turkey sandwich? Like,
Well, it's interesting as well. It's like we were about to a slight sidestep, but we were about to like put the record out ourselves and take a much more DIY route. We sort of shopped it around ourselves a bit and sort of give it one more shot sending it out, and then it was a really nice thing to have somebody else come on board just based on the music, and that not that that helps rate performance, but it at least like validates and gives you the feeling of somebody else believes in this, and it's not, especially like a cool bespoke label like Pelagic, where it's about the music first and it's not about Sony saying, okay, let's blast 250,000 and see if we can sell 1 million units here. I think they like the longevity of working and building bands up and that journey. So that's very that's felt like a nice part of this whole puzzle as well. So.
yeah, I think part of that comes back to the authenticity of the album too, right? Like, you guys didn't write the album for commercial success. You wrote it because you wanted to write it. You wanted to put something, new out, and you wanted to challenge yourselves. And that's, like, I think Robin and the team at Pelagic, I think that's one thing that they really, they see and they notice, what's the reason that you're doing the music, right? Oh, you're doing it because you just like doing the music. We're fucking on board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Robin really appreciated that in us. When we had chatted to him the first time, because of the place that we come from, in that we'd always been very much DIY in everything that we were doing, and under my name had built up a small, yeah, but a small but loyal kind of fan base and just way of working as well. And I think, yeah, Pelagic really really appreciated and respected that. And they also know that we are also honored, and it takes also a lot for us to give part of that away to them too. So it's kind of like I suppose, a mutual respect between us.
as it should be,
Yeah,
especially when you're going into, you're going into business together.
Yeah.
If you don't have a mutual respect and a mutual understanding of where you're at and what you're doing, it makes that relationship really, really stressed, man. And I mean, you guys know when you start stressing that relationship, it's not going to last a whole lot, a long while,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So how do you feel like Pelagic has done with like you guys thus far?
It's early days. The record sort of cycle and campaign is just about to start, and we're lucky to get to play a really nice support tour with the New Model Army in November, and that's a brilliant launch pad for the record. But yeah, I mean, yeah, for us stepping outside of our sort of cottage industry where we sort of like screen print all our CDs and t-shirts, and we're always in the van playing these shows. So just to expand the team, and work with guys who are equally passionate about, Robin's super into his packaging and the record looks beautiful now, and that's really cool. And then even opening up to like having this conversation with you here and work in the States and even, Japan, hopefully eventually, and just taking it more from our doorstep to our to our whole, yeah, world village.
Yeah, it's so wild. Growing up, it seemed like it was so hard for bands to get their music out to everyone. And now with the accessibility of the internet and streaming and all of that, it's I think the new challenge is like, oh, I can get my music out there to the world, and anyone can just type in, and find it. But how do you really
yeah,
like stand out in that world? If we're a drop in the ocean, like what makes this drop so special?
yeah.
Yeah, that's still nice that it comes down to the music though, and even with a bespoke label and a humble budget, it's records go on their own journey, and you never know where they're gonna end up or who's gonna hear them as well, and yeah.
Yeah, and this day and age, with everything you've just said, uh, is both like extremely overwhelming and really accessible at the same time. So it's a strange time to be releasing music, and but I think all in all, I think any artist or band would be slightly silly not to utilize all the things available to them these days. You kind of have to move with the times as best as you can, as long as it still feels good.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one thing that like that Robin does really well, at Pelagic is the packaging. It really helps the bands stand out. And you know what? Maybe the album sells, 1 million copies. Maybe it sells 100,000. We don't know, but everyone who buys one of those fucking albums appreciates every aspect of it, and that's the Pelagic has built this just amazing community of like fans of the music and the packaging.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think, for especially like the debut of like Prayers, to be part of that, I think you guys are going to see um, some really happy fans.
Nice.
nice. I look forward to your crystal ball reading coming true.
Yeah, I can't tell the future. Not a, I mean, I play one on TV, but I'm not reading a crystal ball right now. So like, do you guys have over the next 12 months goals where you would like to see the album or the band go?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of live, I definitely see specific festival lineups. I definitely see, yeah, specific shows that I would love to be a part of. Um, the journey from here to there is a little unknown, I suppose, also because the journey between here and there also is kind of dependent on how the record does, and how the music is received. and also a little bit of luck and nice timing and all of those lovely things. But yeah, I definitely have a lot of festivals in mind that I would love to be playing at. And if there's anything that I've loved so far in my music career is I just love to get to play in new places around the world. It's just up there with my favorite things to do, really. So if I get to do a little bit more of that, then I'll be very grateful.
Oh yeah. How about you, Michael?
Yeah, man. I suppose it's going to be an interest. I think we both feel like it's going to be a busy year. We've got a lot of
Yeah.
touring planned in March. Our headline tour. We've spent the past 2.5 years living in Germany and building up, like touring a lot. So yeah, we're going to really focus on Europe next year and yeah, just try and really yeah, hyper focus on the prayers thing and get it out to as many people as possible and yeah, see where it all goes.
And also sell 1 million records.
Yes. You guys got it. You got to go buy the record. I'm sorry. Like you just
Yeah,
gotta.
yeah.
So, so Amy, you mentioned like some festivals you'd really like to play. What festivals would you like to be a part of?
I mean, in Germany, I would love to be playing at Rock im Park and Rock am Ring. Obviously, up there is Wacken as well. I'd love to be at eventually.
That's like quite a heavy metal
Yeah.
festival.
Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, festivals like Nova Rock. I mean, all the download. I would love to play at. I would love to play at Arctangent actually, which is a small.
I feel like you guys would fit really well at Arctangent.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
There's also,
Arctangent and like Hellfest are the two that I could see you guys really like.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would love to be
Mhm.
at Hellfest. Yeah, I mean all of these, all of the festivals that have built up a name or a prestige around them in the rock and heavy rock metal world. I would just love to be in those scenes, and I think it would just solidify a little bit more for me the direction of prayers in the live setting, you know.
Yeah, and it's interesting that we personally would have never really said the word metal, but just yourself, people like to pigeonhole things and like to know what something is, but I feel a bit more confident now, like creeping in the back door of, say, some of these more niche and metal festivals, because even if it's not the heaviest music you've heard, but there's an energy, particularly with Amy's delivery live, that's got a heaviness that would equal, all your double kicks and chugs all day. But it's like if there's a particular type of attack of performance that you can bring that's the heavy. So yeah, I'd be really into yeah
Yeah,
playing.
I think you're absolutely right, and especially when you get to the like niche festivals, you find that that the people attending the festival aren't there because they only want black metal or whatever. They're really open to a lot of different styles, however heavy or light the metal or alternative metal or whatever is. I think people, especially like in current day,
Yeah.
people are a lot more open to a lot of styles of music than we ever have been, in the past. We've always had those blinders on. It's like, oh, if it's not metal, I'm not listening to it. If it's not punk, I'm not listening to it.
Yeah, that's that real 90s thing of the black metalers don't talk to the death metalers and the thrash
Yeah.
and
Yeah, they see each other out, they're like, fuck you,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
fighting. Like, it's all good music, damn it. Like, come on, it's all right.
Protestants and Catholics fighting each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, here it's just everyone's fighting each other. Fucking
Yeah.
dumb Americans. What a left turn that fucking took, huh? Oh shit. Amy, Michael, I'm not going to keep you. I know you guys have other interviews and shit to do today. I want to say thank you very much for allowing me the time that you've allowed me. I've had such a great time chatting and getting to know you both.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, lovely to chat with you, and hopefully we'll see you on the other side of the world pretty soon, whenever that happens.
Yeah, I'd love to fucking love to see you guys over here. And if I can help you get shows in any way, I'm happy to be that person also.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. When the time is right, we will definitely take you up on that offer. Thank you.
Hell yeah. You guys have a great day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
thanks, man.
too.
Cheers.